I must be honest, discussions went very well between our negotiating teams, and we are finalizing the last details this morning because we are determined that we must get our country going. People of South Africa voted. They want a new government in place that will start addressing their problems. So I'm confident by the time when the parliament sits, all the logistics for today will have been covered.
And that no political party has got a majority. It is important that the Speaker of Parliament does not come from the parties that have formed the executive. So that is the second thing, which means we will not support an ANC Speaker in this sitting out of that principle because we want to improve the oversight of Parliament.
Well, I think there's no government of national unity. It's a grand coalition of the ANC and the DA, and we see no reason why we should obviously participate in something that we don't understand. We're not in a lucky packet kind of an environment. That's something that young children play. So for us to be expected to vote for something that we don't know, we don't really operate like that.
I'm going to support the government of national unity. It is the program of the government of national unity that we'll celebrate today. We are going to vote for everyone that the government of national unity is putting forward unapologetically.
The ideals we stand for, which are build one South Africa, to put South Africans together, that's going to be an important thing to fight for in this 7th administration. But it only doesn't just mean a reconciled South Africa, it also means we need to have a conversation in the 7th administration about how do we bring the poor and the wealthy into one table so that we can talk about how we build shared prosperity for all the people. So I'm coming to fight for that, and I'm looking forward to this administration.
It is with this chanting indeed we are starting our today's show at Cool Buzz TV. Let me welcome all of you. Well guys, as you all know that there's quite a lot of things that happen on this day, especially in the Parliament of South Africa, that we had told you that we'll come and try to have a debate and try to bring you more analysis on what's been happening to this Parliament of South Africa that took place today. All the elected members of the parliament, they were all over there, and the new elected president of Republic of South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa, was also over there in the parliament. So we are going to discuss more about it. We are going to bring you our analysis and our point of view in different matters that took place today in parliament, guys. So as we about to start, we are inviting you, all of you, to make sure that you like these videos in your numbers by clicking that thumbs up like this, and feel free to comment in the comment section. Tell us also what you think, share your opinions, share your point of view, because that is what this platform it is all about. We here to have a conversations as Africans all over around the world. So guys, well, in our previous video that we discussed with you yesterday, it was all about us trying to tell you some of the drama that has been happening so far in South Africa politics since this election result that came out, which announced President Ramaphosa as the winner. And since then, the ANC, they failed to come out with a majority in the parliament. So the constitutions of South Africa had forced these politicians in order for them to go ahead and sit down and see on how they can come up with a government of coalition. President Ramaphosa, he came up and announced that no, instead of just a simple coalition, we rather go for a national government of national unity. In other words, a government that will be at the national benefits, and that was to call each and every participant in these previous elections that took place in South Africa to be part of this national government. So that's already happened, because the president and all the parliament members, they were seated inside the parliament today. We saw how all the members of the ANC, they have to go and sworn in, and starting with the president of Republic of South Africa, with some members of the ANC, followed by the EFF members, starting with their commander-in-chief, Julius Silo Malema.
Malema Julius Silo. Mente Nkuna Veronica Zovuyo. Ivambu Nyiko Floyd. Mautwe Ompile Mankoba Confidence. Damini Marshall Mzingisi. Mailula Poppy Raisibe. Kalipi Shengiwe Octavia. Mateus Lee N. Dozi Mbuiseni Quentin. Noluchungu Nondando.
Dr. Ndlozi, maybe you could join another one. There are already 3 of you on one mic. Maybe will you manage?
Can you go there?
God will hear me. Thank you.
Come here.
Have you all seen the oath or affirmation that you are about to take? Yes. Do you have any objection to taking it?
No.
Do you have any objection to taking it?
No.
You consider it binding on your conscience? Yes. Please read it aloud. Those who took the oath, please raise your right hands and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Those who took the affirmation, raise your right hand and say, "I do." Thank you. You may return to your seats.
Well, after every members of the parliament have finished with their oath of office, or should I put it in other way of saying that they are sworn in, well, the Chief Justice, Justice Zondo, decided to go ahead and move to the next stage, but he was interrupted by a motion which was coming on behalf of the EFF, represented by Deputy President of the EFF, Floyd Shivambu, who had to stop him and to tell him this.
Chief Justice.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you very much. Wanted to request for a 30-minute break to have a caucus before we start with the process of nominating the Speaker and Deputy Speaker. So we are requesting that we should take a 30 minutes break to have a caucus to consolidate the oppositions.
At this stage, what I propose to do, Honorable Member, is to read what I need to read, and then once I've finished that, we can then take it from there. So I need to read this first, and then we will look at whether we can have a break or not.
Well, Chief Justice was left without no choice but to allow or accept what the EFF have raised as a motion in order for them to go and sit and have a conversation. Because if you listen to Chief Justice Zondo himself, he was kind of like asking a question that this kind of things, why you do not do it before we sit it here? When we are not surprised by that, because when we listen to the EFF leader Julius Malema yesterday press conference, he explained that they had requested certain things or certain position from the from the ANC through President Ramaphosa. Then they were hoping to hear from President Ramaphosa by the mid of the night, but unfortunately that did not take place. They did not receive the answer from the ANC, so they were left without no choice than to interrupt this process so that they can have a moment again to negotiate or to have up what they call a closure, whether the ANC will accept for them to nominate also their candidates in this seat of the parliament or not. So obviously you can tell that did not take place at all, because at the end of this video will tell you exactly what ended up happening behind the closed door that they could not show us in front of cameras. But we then saw how the EFF, they had to come and make sure that they put their candidates also there, they put their nominees in all these positions. And it all started by announcing the nominees to the president of, or should I say, the seat of the parliament, to see who's going to be the president over there. So it all started with the ANC, who have to nominate their candidates. A candidate nominations in behalf of the ANC, of course, it was second supported by Supras, who came also to announce his support in behalf of her. After then, the Chief Justice Zondo had to ask if there is any challenger or any kind of nominee that can go and be a challenger. Then that is how we saw Honorable Zungula, who had to come and announce also the candidate of Veronica Mente, who's one of the members of the ANC in the parliament, when he said this.
Are there other nominations?
Yes, there is.
Yes.
My name is Vuyoloetu Zungola Udosini. I am nominating Untombo Vuyo Veronica Mente for the position of Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
After then, we saw how they had to take a break for a moment in order for them to go ahead and organize all this ballot so that all the members of the parliament will be able to put their ballot paper in the box. But something did happen after, though. They had finished putting all their ballot papers and all their votes. So when they were about to count, something did happen, because Chief Justice had to come and announce, saying that no, the counting will take place in private. It will take place in private in a way that no one should not be able to sit beside those who are counting. And he gives his reasons according to the constitutions. He says that this is something that apartheid had put on place. Since then, it is something that needs to be applied. Well, after he says so, the opposition sides, opposition political parties, they have to contest him and say that no, you can't do it that way, because this is not the first time that the counting of votes are taking place in a public place where everyone can see, because this is not just something that is happening right here in Cape Town, but it's something that it might be happening here, but it's something that most of people around the world, they are watching what is happening, and we need to see that transparency so that no one should not feel like no, something fishy did indeed happen. So when he says this, it was kind of like a motion being raised by Floishi Bambu, followed by the Ndlozi, followed by Julius Malema himself. So it was kind of like a debate. I don't want to speak much in their behalf, but here's what happened.
See who is speaking.
It's Ndlozi.
Oh, yes, okay.
Yes, thanks, Chief Justice. Chief Justice, these rules are not the rules of Parliament, number one. And number two, you cannot say because apartheid made a law and I inherited it, even if it is undemocratic, I have nothing to do. That can't be a responsible response. As the head of the judiciary, we are appealing that surely you agree it is undemocratic to say the counting cannot be observed. What are we teaching the country now? What are we telling the South Africans who are watching these proceedings? What are we telling the international community? That the head of our judiciary says a counting is going to be done in secret. We are appealing to you. Set this rule aside. Nobody will do anything. It's your rule. It's not us. It doesn't have to be subjected to anything. It is undemocratic. It's inconsistent with the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. And no one is going to lose anything. These cameras that are showing me now must zoom in as the counting is happening. The last thing I want to say, in 2019, there was an outright winner. In 2019, there was no contestation. But we have been here when there was a contestation and voting happened in secret, but counting was observed by everyone. And it happened on the floor of the National Assembly. Musi Maimani was contesting, Honorable Musi Maimani was contesting Honorable Gedley Hlegisa Jikitshela Mkhonto Zuma. And we counted here. But I'm appealing to you, Chief Justice. It's undemocratic to say a counting cannot be observed.
I've heard Mr. Ndlozi, and basically his concern is that the counting should happen here.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chief Justice. I would like to suggest that instead of having the counting taking place here at the plenary, let's rather agree as a sitting that we designate party whips to observe the counting wherever it will be taking place, rather than having it taking place at the plenary of the sitting. I am of the view that that approach would not necessarily cause the amendments of the rules, but it addresses the concern arising from what has been referred to as a past experience, where the counting was observed at the plenary of the National Assembly. That's what we want to propose. Thank you.
Yes.
Chief Justice Julius Malema.
Yes, Honorable Malema.
Thank you very much, Chief Justice. I never thought I would sit in a meeting where we argue with the head of the judiciary about internationally acceptable methods of running a democratic elections. The observation, for you to observe the elections, is a democratic practice which is internationally acceptable. And we cannot have a debate about that. And no one, Chief Justice, stands to lose anything out of observation of elections unless someone seeks to do something that is undemocratic. But if it is in line with democratic principles, it is internationally acceptable that a free and fair elections will, amongst other things, include that there were observers who observed the proceedings of the elections. So I fully support what Honorable Ntuli suggests, that if you want to go and then enjoy Cape Town while people are counting, let's get people to go and represent us. But in the past, and all members who are returning members here know it, in the past we used to count in the middle of the plenary. It's not something strange. And Floyd was an observer in one of those countings that happened here. And Honorable Musi was a candidate of such a contestation. Those people, both of them are here,
Yes.
who were there before. So we support that motion, and anything else that is not democratic that is being suggested by the DA is not supported, is strongly opposed, because it even comes from wrong people.
Like enough for the day, the Chief Justice Raymond Zondo accepted the proposal which some members, including the EFF leader Julius Malema, had proposed in order for them to do this the counting of this vote, not in secret, but at least in the presence of all the representatives from different political parties which were seated in that parliament.
Unless there is an opposition to the suggestion made by the member here, I'm inclined to accept the proposal that there would be representatives of various parties present when the counting happens. So I'm inclined to one representative per party to observe during the counting in the counting room. It looks like everybody accepts that. Thank you. That is the ruling.
So the Chief Justice allowed that, and they did all the counting of the votes. Chief Justice Raymond Zondo came back to announce the winner of this so-called election that took place today inside the parliament of the president speaker of the National Assembly. So he came and announced the winner.
In terms of item 6 of part A of schedule 3 of the Constitution, I accordingly declare Honorable Didiza duly elected Speaker of the National Assembly. On behalf of all present here, I have the honor of congratulating you on your election as Speaker. I now call upon the Acting Sergeant at Arms to conduct the Honorable Speaker to the chair.
After the Chief Justice had made this announcement of the winner in the name of Toko Didiza being representing the ANC, we saw how they had to do the exchange by conducting her to go ahead and sit on the chair or to take over Chief Justice Raymond Zondo. After then, Chief Justice had to leave because he have done what was his assignment. After then, Madam Speaker Didiza, or Honorable Madam President Speaker Didiza, have to take the chair and start being in control of everything. But before that, he had first to thank everyone who voted for him and kind of trying to make a promise on how she would like to work with everyone who will be elected in a different positions of the parliament.
Chief Justice, Your Excellency the President, Deputy President, honorable members of Parliament, the leaders of the various parties present here, the people of South Africa, I'd like to thank all of you as members who have participated in this democratic process of electing the Speaker of the National Assembly in the 7th Parliament of the Republic of South Africa. We have an opportunity to express our views representing our constituency, and that's why we have to elect and participate in such a process where then the one who is elected take the responsibility, but it does not mean that those who might have voted differently are not supportive of the work of the institution.
Was that all for the day? No, because she had now to go ahead and call for the elections of the deputy president of deputy president speaker of the parliament, the person who will be like after her.
There will now be an opportunity for nomination of candidates for the election as Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly.
So this is now where the problem sits. This is where we saw another drama, because according to what the EFF, they had decided to speak with the ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa, was for them at least to have the seat of the deputy president of National Assembly. But unfortunately, it seemed like they were not granted with all that because of the reasons that I will discuss with you in a bit. But we saw how the Madam Speakers of the Parliament, she called for the nominee to be nominated by the different political parties, and we saw how Floyd Shivambu of the EFF have to nominate.
Speaker.
Honorable Member Shibambu.
No, thank you very much, Speaker, and best wishes on your election as the Speaker of the National Assembly. So, I stand myself as Nico Floyd Shibambu to nominate Honorable Vuyeletu Zungula as the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly.
Unfortunately, we saw another surprise coming out from the DA, who have to nominate also their candidates.
Thank you very much, Speaker, and a huge congratulations on your election. I would like to, as Viwe Gwahube from the Democratic Alliance, nominate Dr. Annelie Lottreed for the position of the Deputy Speaker, please.
After then, Madam Speaker of the Parliament, she had to ask if there were any other nominees that are supposed to be standing for these same positions, and there were no one else to come and be part of it. So she then decided to allow the Parliament to go ahead and do the votes so that they can see who will be the winner. And after all this took place, she came back to give the result by saying this.
I now want to announce who got how many votes. Honorable V. Zungula, 54 votes. Thank you. Honorable Annelie Lottreed, 273 votes.
When you look at the vibes which took place during that moment, you can tell already who's the winner from all this so-called government of national unity. Because you can tell already that this is what the DA, they've been waiting for. And this is what they managed to get so far. So they kind of like celebrating because they know already that everything's, they are working in their favors, and they believe that by the end of all this, they will be the winner from this so-called government of national unity. But later on, we saw how they invited this deputy speaker of the parliament to go and give a first speech, obviously by thanking people who had voted for her. Have listened to what she said.
Can we now allow the deputy speaker to give her remarks?
Honourable Speaker, Chief Justice, Mr. President, honourable members and guests. Madam Speaker, I would firstly want to congratulate you on your election. I can assure you of my support, and I wish you strength, courage and wisdom. This is a tremendous honour and privilege, as well as a great responsibility that has been bestowed on me. This is a position that I do not take lightly. and I fully understand the trust that has been placed in me. I undertake to fulfill my duties with care, commitment, and humility, and to be fair and just, and to do all in my power to do justice to this position. I would like to thank you for your trust that you have placed in me, and I undertake that I will do everything not to disappoint you.
I personally, I doubt if whatsoever she said here, it will be something that she will apply, because we know that these people, they don't have that spirit of humility. These people, they're still seeing black South Africans as their slaves. Now that they are being given such kind of positions, well, we shall wait and see whether they'll work for good of people of South Africa, or they'll have to use their apartheid statistics system that they have planned on place after all these years. But after then, we saw the Chief Justice Zondo. He came back to now come and take over by announcing or calling for the nominee of the President of the Republic of South Africa. So he had to call for the candidates who are available for this post. We saw how the ANC, they have to nominate President Ramaphosa as their candidate to be the President of the Republic of South Africa, and he was second supported by the IFP leader, who have also to say this.
Is there a second? Somebody must just raise the hand.
DA.
Who in the honorable member there? Okay. Mr. Singh?
It will be Honorable Hlabisa, Chief Justice.
Or Honorable Hlabisa?
Thank you very much, Honorable Honorable Chief Justice. I am Velenkosini Hlabisa, and hereby second the name of Honorable Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa to be the President of the Republic. Thank you.
Well, all of us, including those who were there in that parliament, they were expecting that this will be the last process in order for them to go back to their home and sleep, because it was late already. They've been there the whole day. So they were just waiting to elect President Ramaphosa as the President of the Republic of South Africa, and then they will go to their places, because there were no other contest according to them. But they were surprised because the EFF have to come and punish them by taking revenge of what they have done to them in all this process that took place yesterday in the parliament, because the EFF, they had nominated their candidates in all posts, and they were hoping that the ANC would collaborate. But since the ANC with its new allies, they refused to collaborate with the EFF, well, we all sit and we saw how we were all surprised by the EFF with its own allies. They decided to nominate their candidates.
Are there other nominations?
Yes, Chief Justice, I'm already on the floor.
Please go ahead.
I thought my nomination was making you nervous a bit. I, Ngabayomzi Lawrence Saziso Kwangwa, ichawe lezulu sigodlwana zemazendala zingalala endleleni kunyembelekile, hereby nominate Julius Silo Malema as candidate for election as President of the Republic of South Africa. I thank you very much.
Order, 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 order. Thank you. Is there a seconder for that nomination?
Chief Justice.
Yes.
I, Vuyo Lwethu Zungola, uDosini, uNcwina, uNoyila, uQabashe, into engathi inkosi emntwini ngoba inkosi ngokwayo, I second the nomination.
Thank you very much. Although the nominee will be required to signify in writing if he accepts the nomination, I would like to know at this stage whether the nominee accepts the nomination.
I, Julius Sello Malema, accept the nomination.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, like it or not, the candidate of Julius Malema to be the President of Republic of South Africa, it was approved. It was accepted and approved by the Chief Justice Raymond Zondo, who acknowledged that. So they were left without no choice than to go to now to the ballot so that they can see the winner. So they have to vote again. And after that, we saw how the EFF, they were busy celebrating, you know, they kind of like singing because they managed to achieve their goal of the day by making things even more harder and annoying for the majority presidential that were seated over there in Cape Town. So they came back late on and they bring up the results to announce the winner, and this is how it happened.
The candidates' votes are as follows. Honorable J.S. Malema, 44 votes. Honorable MC Ramaphosa, 283 votes. Honorable members, in terms of item 6 of Part A of Schedule 3 of the Constitution, I accordingly declare Honorable MC Ramaphosa duly elected President
That is how the result of the president's candidate post were announced in the parliament. We saw how late it was, but the ANC members, they were celebrating because it was also another way of tempting or testing the loyalty to all these new partners of the ANC to see whether they can still be able to respect their words or not, because seeing politicians how they do things, they can promise you one thing and tomorrow they end up doing something else. So whether we like it or not, it was a good opportunity for the new allies of the ANC. They should show their loyalty to this government of national unity. Well, that is how they call it, even though in actions we don't see so. We'll discuss more about it in a second. But guys, before President Ramaphosa was given an opportunity to give his first speech in the parliament, they had to open the floor for everyone as a political party leaders who have to come and send their message of the congratulatory to the President of the Republic of South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa. Well, we saw the DA, they came and said this.
Our country and its interests and its future first. In this election, the voters chose not to give any party its own majority. In doing so, they have told us that they want us to work together to build a prosperous, non-racial, united South Africa with a growing economy that works for everybody. We must now, as the members of this House, rise to that occasion and rise to the call of South Africa. Despite the political party T-shirts that we wore during the election, Each and every one of us is, first of all, a South African. Our country needs us now to step up, to end the era of finger pointing, and to start a new era of collectively putting our shoulder to the wheel to ensure that the country that we all love prospers into the future, and that the people that we have been sent to this house to serve get value for money and ensure that we give effect to the dreams, the hopes and aspirations of every South African. The Democratic Alliance and I look forward to working with you, Mr. President, and the rest of the team that will be forming part of the Government of National Unity to put our country first, to take hands and to work collectively in the interests of the people we serve and the country we love. Thank you very much.
After all, I'm not surprised. I believe you two, you are not surprised, because looking at how things are sitting on the table right now, the DA, that the winner in all this is something that they predicted. This is something that they planned for it to happen, and they succeed. The DA, their goals was to make sure that there should not be a coalition between the ANC and the EFF of Julius Malema, including the new created political party, Umkhonto weZizwe of the Jacob Zuma. They did not want to see them together. This should be another lesson we should take from all this. The strategy that the Western have always put in place in order to destroy black children, because they don't want to see black child be united, because if they see us being united, of course it will be their failure. So they want to make sure that they should bring more conflict among black people, so that at the end of the day, they will come and show up as if they have that solution to all the problems that we might be facing. And then once we give them a chance, then they will continue ruling or taking advantage of black child. That is one proof that you should keep that in mind, you as a black person who are watching us from everywhere around the world. These people, they never want to see the unity of Africans. Proof to that, we were all expecting to see Jacob Zuma working together with the Ramaphosa, Julius Malema, you know, but they came, they put pressure on the ANC, and the ANC, they gave up. They did not even give. Okay, let me put it this way. So the ANC gave up, but they make it look like, no, we want to unite everyone. That is how they came up with this idea of saying that, no, we should go for national governments of unity. And then looking at it, now that most of black who still have that conscience of knowing the kind of this deal, or what does this deal mean to black people, they withdraw from all this proposal. The DA, they were the first one to jump on the plate and take advantage of the whole situation. So I'm not surprised by what John Steenhuisen had said in his speech of congratulate to President Ramaphosa, because this is what they wanted and they succeed. And the ANC, so far, they acting like they are not aware of what's up to happen. Well, its own time will tell. But on other side, we saw Julius Malema, when they give him also a chance as the leader of the EFF to come and send this message of congrats to President Ramaphosa. Of course, he came and said these words.
Madam Speaker, congratulations to you. And you know very well that under normal circumstances, would have ordinarily supported you, because we believe in your commitment to a parliament that is going to work effectively and efficiently. We have an experience of working with you even before, and we do not doubt your capacity. Our contestation of you was necessarily to contest the betrayal of our people, and it has nothing to do with you as an individual. Congratulations, Mr. President. We accept the results and the voice of the people of South Africa, which was expressed on the 29th of May. And we also accept the results of today's gathering, because it's a reflection of a democratic practices. But we contested because we wanted to demonstrate to South Africa
that we do not agree to this marriage of convenience to consolidate the white monopoly power over the economy and the means of production in South Africa. This marriage, it's a marriage that seeks to undermine the changing of property relations in South Africa. We refuse to sell out. We've never done so when we're young, and we're not going to do so today. We don't have a history of being collaborators. We are going to ensure that this parliament is functional. We can reassure you that we will not fight with any bouncer. We are going to be the best and effective opposition that is going to ensure that both you and the DA are held accountable. This is not a government of national unity. This is a grand coalition between the ANC and the white monopoly capital.
Honorable
History
member, your
will
time
judge
is
you
over.
and judge you harshly. Thank you.
Well, guys, Julius Malema, he said it loud and clear. He did not beat around the bush. He had first to explain the reason why he have to contest this post or these elections of President of the Republic, because he want to make sure that this should remain in the history that, yes, the way this so-called national a government of national unity, which the EFF did not participate because they believe that that was a deal between the devil and God. So they did not want to be part of that. And then they had to at least put their president so that no one should come and say that, okay, did you try to contest it? Did you try to stand and stop Ramaphosa to not be the president? So that is how they head up to nominate him, and he fully accepted this nomination. So, and then he had to remind them, the President of the Republic, that no, there's nothing good will happen from all this. Actually, it is a good idea. As we told you again in one of our previous videos, that the fact that the EFF, they withdraw from all these activities and they prefer to work with other political parties such as the MK, this will make it will work in their advantage. This will make them at least like have something to use against the ANC and DA, because now you can tell that whether it's the ANC, the IFP, DA, PA, all these political alliance from now on will have to paint them with the same brush. If they do good, which means we'll upload for all of them. If they do bad, which means we'll blame all of them at the same time. That is the clear message that Julius Malema was trying to give. But after him, we saw some other political parties, like for example, the president of Bosa, Musi Maiman. He came also up and he gave this message to President Ramaphosa.
Elected fellow South Africans, Bagaitsu, Dumelang. It is indeed a question one has to grapple with. When I reflect on the 29th of May, I ask myself a question that actually comes from the Bible that says, can a nation be born in a day? I happen to believe the 29th of May gave us a new start, a fresh beginning. I happen to believe that South Africa will never be the same again. For that to happen, it's going to ask us a number of questions, Mr. President and Speaker. The first is, are we willing to put up our hands and say this country deserves better than what it has had in the last 30 years, and we will charter a way forward for a better 30 years? It asks us the more difficult question that says, could, as the Speaker of this House, hold the executive to account regardless of how it's put together, so that our people will know that all actions will be held accountable for the good of all the people, and that certainly as Build One South Africa will be fighting to do. Mr. President, to you, I wish to say this to you, that your role in 1994 was one such of bringing this nation and drafting a constitution that built a new consensus. Today, the task feels a bit similar, even though in a different age. It asks of you to maybe in many ways ensure that the haves and the have-nots have a conversation so that all of us have something. It asks us the question to say, where there are divisions in our country, we will pull together to build a united South Africa. I wish you well in that task, and I give you my assurance that when you want to build one South Africa, you will have my support. But when we differ from that, we will hold you to accountable. And may God bless our beautiful nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, guys, that was it. But you could tell already that things happens for good reasons. Okay? The ANC, they had the opportunities to make a good deal that will benefit them in the future. But looking at how they make this deal, or the way they negotiate it, coming up with this idea of putting everyone together, when you know that in South Africa political class there's still a lot of conflict, because it is impossible for you to unite people to work one place in advantage of South Africans when they still have a lot of differences between them. How can you take a political party such as the EFF or MK of Jacob Zuma, put them together with DA, when you know very well that DA have declared an open war against all these political parties? How can you refuse to work with these other political parties when you know already that DA have said already that they don't want to see you working with the EFF? So you see already that it is like you are opening the door for everyone to come in a house where there's a fire, in a house where you know that this house or this building, it can collapse at any time. That's what the ANC did according to our own understanding. Because when you open the door for everyone, you're calling them to have a government of national unity. It is a good idea. It is a good initiation. It is something that everyone can take it and take advantage of it, make use of it. But you should also put yourself in their issue to understand that these people, they have to go and meet inside there, even though there are big enemies out there. Because you can come here and tell me that no, the EFF, they are the one who walk out of this national government government of national unity. You can tell all that. Okay, I understand. But are you aware also that the DA with John Stenizen, they had threatened the ANC? They said to the ANC that if the EFF and MK, they can be part of this government of national unity, we are not going to be part of it. We are going to be out. Come to think of it again, if all of them, they had to go and compose this government of national unity, who was going to be part of the opposition political party? Who was going to do the opposition if all of them, they have to govern? So these are the things that any wise leader should have think or thought of. And you can tell already that the EFF, they can see that, okay, no, actually, us going in this government of national unity is like you are going to show to the people of South Africa, in case if there will be any kind of failure, it will be like they are going to show to the people of South Africa that you guys, you get a chance to lead alongside with the ANC and DA and everyone, you have failed. So no one is good among you. So they want to keep their clean name as a government that have not ruled or lead so far the countries. So therefore, they are making sure that the DA, which has been claiming that they are good governors, they can give a good service to the people of South Africa, let them go together with the ANC and try to work together so that at the end of the day, we shall be able to see who have done what, who succeed to do what. That was the main point that these people, they have to do. So the government, the parliament is seated already. Now we are waiting for the government to be announced very soon. Obviously, this government, it will be composed of all the new ANC allies who have accepted to be part of this national government. We shall wait and see. All we wish for South Africa and for people of South Africa is for all the problems that we've been facing as a nation to be solved as soon as possible, and us will be there just to at least encourage those who are doing good, and try to give our point of view. So guys, thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video until now. It was very important that we had these conversations about everything that took place inside that parliament, and we had to come and give you this analysis by explaining exactly of what happened, who have done what, and who said what, as you guys, you know, because what happened yesterday in the parliament, it is something that took almost the whole day, like 24 hours. They were there since 9 a.m. until late midnight, around somewhere 1 or 2. So guys, you can tell already that it was not going to be something that you'll sit and be able to watch all the highlights of what had happened in that parliament. So that's the reason why we feel like, no, we should sit down and have a conversations about all this. So do us a favor before you leave, make sure that you hit that like button. We really do appreciate you liking this video. It is free of charge. It's just a way of you making it possible and easy for YouTube to recommend it to many people out there so that they can watch it. But if you did find something beneficial in this video, of course, feel free to subscribe to this beautiful family of Cool Buzz TV. This is a Pan-African platforms which we had created to talk about Africa, to talk about Africa development, Africa politics. We get to give analysis in a different point that concern Africa continent. So if you don't want to miss any news or updates or analysis concerning Africa continent, well, feel free to hit that subscribe button so that whenever we're here live, you'll be able to join us. For now, continue to be yourself, be good, be kind, have respect for everyone in order for you to be respected. May God bless you all. I'll see you again very soon. Ciao, ciao.